Oh, why don't you go find a wall socket and stick your tongue in it? That'll give you a charge.
I'll stick my tongue up your pretty pussy.
You fucking creep!
I'm going to kill you.
There are different ways a horror film can get under your skin. There are horror films that aim to achieve this effect by showing you violent scenes or grotesque imagery. With the 1974 horror film Black Christmas, director Bob Clark and his team prioritizes a careful approach in disturbing the audience through cinematography, location, editing, sound, and music. With its simple story and visual language, there's a handful of techniques Bob Clark and his team use to unsettle the audience and create one of the best horror films ever made. The story follows a group of sorority sisters who are receiving these cryptic phone calls from a mysterious killer named Billy. Billy has sneaked into their home and hides in the attic, taking out the victims one by one. Meanwhile, our main character Jess discovers she is pregnant and makes plans to have an abortion, while her boyfriend Peter objects to her decision. However, Jess starts to become suspicious when she slowly discovers how the phone calls from Billy parallel with the arguments she has had with Peter. If you were to focus on character and story, the film takes its time to explore, humanize, and ground these characters and make us understand their struggles. However, the film takes a different approach with the antagonist. We never get a clear motivation or explanation behind who Billy is or why he is committing these acts of violence. We also never get the chance to see his face.
It's me, Billy.
What further makes Billy an unpredictable horror villain is through each phone call he makes after committing a murder. And because his identity is never revealed, it creates this sense of dread knowing this could be anyone. By establishing his presence in the story through these chilling phone calls, we are placed in the shoes of the characters, experiencing the uncomfortable tone from each phone call. By using long takes, dolly shots, and with the additional use of different camera movements, we're forced to stay in the moment with the characters. In order to softly break the tension without losing the fear, instead of using jump scares, for example, the film uses simple cuts.
Let me stick. You big cunt. Yeah, you big cunt. You big cunt.
Let me lick it. Lick it. Lick it. Let me lick your pretty piggy cunt. Pretty big cunt. Pretty big.
Hello? 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 Oh, hell, not again. Billy? Oh, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number.
What your mother and I must know is, where did you put the baby, Billy?
You've got the wrong number.
Where did you put Agnes, Billy?
Billy.
Look, I'm telling you, you have the wrong number.
What your mother and I must know is... Billy!
Hello? Hello? Look, who is this?
Please stop.
God's sake, what are you doing?
I know what you did, Billy! Filthy Billy! 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 Billy!
Stop this!
By removing the option to cut away during certain scenes, the camera slowly traps the characters into a close-up. This almost echoes how the voice traps the imagination of the character and the audience. From these disturbing sounds and voices, we can pick up some key words and history behind Billy's motivation, but never get the full picture. The composer of the film, Carl Zitra, mixed the phone calls and added additional sounds and voices, including the director and cameraman's voice, on top of Nick Mancuso's voice performance, to add more confusion to the calls. Mancuso also mentioned that he performed the voice upside down to compress the thorax to get the right effect.
Agnes, it's me, Billy.
With all the pieces mixed together, it makes it difficult to pinpoint and understand a villain that cannot be reasoned with. The film also spends time establishing Peter as a red herring to misguide viewers from the real villain. Once it's revealed that Billy is still alive in the end, the film does not give away his identity. Even though the red herring does not work as effectively on a second watch, there's still subtle uses of shadows and phone calls to misguide the audience.
You selfish bitch. You're talking about killing our baby as though you were having a wart removed.
Just like having a wart removed.
You know how I feel about the baby.
Don't do this.
Jess, don't hurt the baby.
Stop this, Peter.
You heard.
We can't kill the baby. That's a strange way of putting it.
That's right. It couldn't be Peter. Phil, it couldn't be Peter. He was here.
Our introduction to the house and Billy's point of view sets the tone of the film and the visual language. Bob Clark and his camera team emphasized how important it was for the camera to carry a subjective and an objective purpose to create dramatic irony and build tension. To communicate the subjective camera work, they used multiple points of view shots from the killer's perspective to create this uncomfortable feeling of being inside the killer's head.
If you think it was Peter, then why didn't you just tell the police?
Well, because I'm not really sure.
Well, it should be stopped. Whoever it is should be stopped. God, Jess, I haven't had a minute's sleep around here. There's been so much noise in the house. What the hell was all that yelling about?
Mom had an asthma attack. She was having a nightmare.
Is she all right?
Yeah, she's fine. She's sleeping now. He repeated almost word for word what Peter said to me tonight.
Couldn't it just be a coincidence?
They also used point of view shots to reveal small pieces of information on Billy's character and his backstory. In contrast, by using a more objective approach with the camera, each shot lingers and takes its time to reveal the empty spaces behind or around the characters by rotating the camera 180 degrees or a full 360 degree shot, and with the additional use of lateral camera movements. By mixing both styles, it works well in keeping the character's identity a mystery, while also make the audience understand the geography of the location, which will help increase the tension during key scenes and moments. One of the defining features of Black Christmas is the season when the film takes place. By using juxtaposition, it helps to create a more grounded and lively environment for the characters to interact with, while highlighting the dark corners of humanity lurking in the shadows. There are many examples of how they achieve this through editing and cinematography. A perfect example of this contrast is Barb's death and the Christmas carol singers outside the house. Later in the film, as Jess heads downstairs after checking in on Barb, she is greeted by a group of young carol singers. While Jess is listening to the carol singers, she is unaware of Billy entering Barb's room. The film limits the use of on-screen violence and uses the contrast of both scenes to create this jarring yet poetic effect, warping the death and screams of a character with the innocent voices of children. Another contrast can be seen in the opening and ending of the film. With Christmas known as a day of family coming together and sharing time with friends and loved ones, the first shot of the film showcases Christmas decorations in a house with warm interiors surrounded by darkness. This visual is further echoed during the final shot with its unresolved ending. A long take where we see the corpses of Mrs. Mack and Claire, and as the camera pulls back, we return to a similar wide shot of the house. However, the interior lights are off. Our protagonist is alone and defenseless, and a phone starts to ring. The darkness has consumed the house. A key to horror storytelling is ambiguity, sometimes implying can be more effective than showing too much. With Black Christmas, there is a special experience in watching a film that gives you no answers, no resolution, just enough pieces of a puzzle for you to think about while you stay awake at night.